tired of doing things my way. I just wanna know there's a brighter day. Nothing's ever the same, it's all the other way. I can do it on my own. 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 At times I wanna run away. So sick and tired of doing things my way. I just wanna know there's a brighter day. Nothing's ever the same, it's all the other way. I can do it, Lord, I need you. 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 I can do it, Lord, I need you.
I can imagine living without you, holding this book, thinking about you. So much I have to. I'm better than this. Looking the back, I'm ducking the past. Demons are back. I'm holding it back. There's no going back. I'm gripping it hard. I'm looking at thee. We focus on living, spiritual healing. I wanna feel it. She was the vision. We washing our garments soon to be busy. We want deliverance. Last call, the sky is splitting. Watch it repent. I want a life without no ceilings. I want a block that do not fear me. I want a bump so that they hear me come. Riding around that New Jerusalem.
Hey, shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Welcome back to another episode of Giving the Sense A to Z. I'm your host, Captain Matthew, and today we'll be covering the book of Ezra, chapter 2. So, you know, we went over the chapter 1, and we went through the history and showed what happened, how we ended up there, and who also was amongst the prophet Ezra. You know, we discussed Nehemiah. We gave the history and showed the prophets and the prophecies concerning what would take place. So we're going to continue that with the second chapter, and it's a lot going in there because now these are those that are returning to Jerusalem. So now let's open up, as y'all know what we do. Let's open up with the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 8. Let's go ahead and get that.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 8 and verse 8.
Come on.
So they read in the book and the law of God distinctly and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading.
So it is our job to make sure that we read through the book of the law distinctly to give you, brothers and sisters, the sense. So when you sit down, you taking your notes, you can verify these things. Okay, these brothers said this precept lines up with that, and you all are clear what's being said. All of us, most of us came out of the Christian church. We had the foggiest idea of what the hell was going on. So now, let's go ahead and go to Ezra chapter 2.
The book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 1.
Come on.
Now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity, of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city.
So remember, we covered a little bit of that. We touched slightly into it when King Cyrus took over. He gave the reprieve for us to return, but let's get a little more history on that. Go to the book of 2 Kings, chapter 24, and verse 1. Because there's a lot that took place in here. And bear with us, because there's a lot of good history here and a lot of things that took place in this time frame. So go ahead and read that.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 24, verse 1. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Joachim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him.
So he was installed and he rebelled against the king. Come on.
And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees and bands of the Syrians.
So King Nebuchadnezzar sent waves of the Chaldees, the Syrians. Come on.
And bands of the Moabites and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants, the prophets.
So this thing was prophesied that if we didn't get our act together, the Lord was going to begin to uproot us up out of the land. And understand, this took time. This was this one-day season. We was about it. Absolutely not. This unfolded over a process of time. So now it says, according to the word of the Lord, which spake by his servants, the prophets. Let's go to one of the prophets. Go to Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's read 19 and start at verse 1 for me.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 19, verse 1.
So we know what this thing is talking about. This thing was prophesied unto him. So when this siege happened, nobody should have been caught off guard. Come on.
Thus saith the Lord, Go and get a potter's earthen bottle, and take of the ancients of the people, and of the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley of the son of Hanam, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell thee.
Meaning what? Go to the chief place of commerce or concourse and see the people down there so they can hear the word that I told you delivered to the people. Come on.
And say, hear ye the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem.
You see that? So he went out and talked to the rulers and the inhabitants of the land. Come on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place.
He gonna do what?
I will bring evil upon this place.
Come on.
The which whosoever heareth, his ears shall tingle.
So the brother that's going to hear, so hold on, what the hell the Lord prophesied against us? But the brothers that didn't hear, they just went on about their way. Come on.
Because they have forsaken me, and have estranged this place, and have burned incense in it unto other gods.
Come on.
Whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents.
And we're going to touch on that. So these things was going on in the land. We was in the midst of idolatry, witchcraft, child sacrifice, all manners of evil. The same evils you see here in Babylon today. Come on.
They have built also the high place of Baal, to burn their sons with fire.
To do what?
To burn their sons with fire.
You see that? So here in Babylon the Great, or America, we doing the same thing, but we was doing that evil in our own land. Come on.
For burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord.
The what?
The days come, saith the Lord.
Come on.
That this place shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hanam, but the valley of slaughter.
What, the valley of what?
The valley of slaughter.
The valley of slaughter. Come on.
And I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place.
Right, because Jeremiah went to the kings and all of that. The letter that he gave to Baruch, they took the letter and threw it in the fire. They didn't regard anything that Jeremiah was saying. They went on about their business. Come on.
And I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place. And I will cause them to fall by the sword.
He would do what?
Cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies.
Damn, so we was put to death in war. Come on.
And by the hands of them that seek their lives. And their carcasses will I give to be meat for the fowls of the heaven.
Damn.
And for the beasts of the earth. And I will make this city desolate and hissing. Everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all the plagues thereof.
Come on.
And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons.
Hold on, he going to do what?
And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons.
Man, let's go back to Deuteronomy 28, because a lot of times, you know, a lot of scoffers here bring this out, and they like, well, that didn't happen, this, and this. They want to discredit the Bible, not understanding that the judgments of God is on the ring. We hear the bishop bring that out. That thing happened during the time of Jeremiah. It happened during the siege of Jerusalem. These things took place over and over as a sign of who the children of Israel are. So let's go to Deuteronomy 20. Let's get that curse about eating the flesh of your sons.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 55.
Come on.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
Damn, no, read verse 53.
Verse 53.
Yes, sir.
And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body.
Matter of fact, start at verse 52 to show why we were doing it. I'm going to start at 52.
Deuteronomy.
So we get the point.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates.
So we was besieged. We read that he sent bands of Assyrians, the Chaldeans, the Ammonites to attack us, to wear us down, to slowly cut off the food and resources, because we had to hunker in. We couldn't go out. So understand, all the resources and all that began to diminish over time. Come on.
Until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustedest.
And eventually the walls tumbled and we was taken. Come on.
Throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee.
Read.
And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body.
Oh, thou shalt do what?
Eat the fruit of thine own body.
Come on.
The flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
So now let's go back to Jeremiah. Read Jeremiah 19:9 again. This was a curse because we disobeyed God. Our homeland was seized.
Jeremiah chapter 19, verse 9. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters.
Come on.
And they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the
Damn.
siege and straightness, wherewith their enemies, and they that seek their lives shall straighten them.
Man, you was getting put to death. You had to eat the flesh of your children, your friends, all that. Because guess what? We did evil. The Lord sent these nations, put a siege on our land, and we could not go in and out. Think about it today. Let's bring it up today. What's going on in Gaza right now? People are starving to death because that place is under siege by the so-called they are the Khazars or Amalek, or y'all know them as the Israelis today. They seizing the Palestinians. They got kids all skinny and dying from the famine over there. The war causes that, man. So now let's go back to 2 Kings chapter 24 and pick up on verse 2 again. So they understand what was prophesied and negates what Jeremiah was saying. He foretold all that. But did they listen? Hell no. Read that again.
2 Kings chapter 24, verse 2. And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it.
Come on.
According to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants, the prophets.
So we read the words of one of the prophets, Jeremiah 19. We read 1 through 9. So we get an idea of what Jeremiah was down there telling these people. Come on.
Surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah.
Hold on, it says what?
Surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah.
It came to pass. Come on.
To remove them out of his sight. For the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did, and also for the innocent blood that he shed.
Come on.
For he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood,
Come on.
which the Lord will not pardon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Jehoiakim slept with his fathers, and Jehoiakim his son reigned in his stead.
So now let's touch on that sins of Manasseh. This is the king of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah. Hezekiah did right in the sight of the Lord. So I want to touch on the sins of Manasseh. And that's the same Manasseh you read about in the Apocrypha about the prayer of Manasseh. So, but we're going to read about his evils, but all praises he repented, but we got to read about the evil so we understand what the sins of Manasseh were. So let's go to 2 Kings 21 and 3.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 21, verse 3.
And this is going to give you an idea of the evils that we was committing in that land. And this was over some time. So don't think that Jeremiah went out there one day and the next day, 2 days later, the Babylonians came. No, it didn't work like that. The Lord gave us much time to get our act together, but we was being wicked as hell. Read that.
2 Kings, chapter 21, verse 3. For he built up again the high places, which Hezekiah his father had destroyed.
Hold on, he did what?
He built up again the high places.
The places of idolatry, idol worship, come on.
Which Hezekiah his father had destroyed.
So he wasn't walking in the footsteps of his father. Come on.
And he reared up altars for Baal and made a grove, as did Ahab, king of Israel.
You see that Baal or Baal? We was doing the same thing. Guess what? America got that out here today. Come on.
And worship all the host of heaven and serve them.
Damn, come on.
And he built altars in the house of the Lord, of which the Lord said, in Jerusalem will I put my name.
So we built idol places of worship where the Lord put his name. You got to understand the magnitude of evils that's going on. Come on.
And he built altars for all the host of heaven in the two courts of the house of the Lord. And he made his son pass through the fire.
Hold on, he did what?
He made his son pass through the fire.
So they made their sons pass through the fire. That's the shedding of innocent blood that was being talked about in 2 Kings. Children being put to death. You see that here in America. These children are being sacrificed to Baal, man. It's the same spirit. Come on.
And he made his son pass through the fire and observe times and use enchantments.
So you got witchcraft and all manners of stuff. Come on.
And dealt with familiar spirits and wizards.
And did what?
And dealt with familiar spirits and wizards.
So, you got your horoscopes, Ouija boards, and all that we got today. We was doing them evils back in our own land. Come on.
He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Lord.
He did what?
He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Lord.
Come on.
To provoke him to anger. And he set a graven image of the grove that he had made in the house, of which the Lord said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever.
You see how wicked you got to be to bring that level of evil into the temple, man? That's what we was doing. Jump to 2 Chronicles 33 and 6. Jump to 2 Chronicles 33 and 6.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 33, and verse 6.
So I want this thing to sink in, the evils of Manasseh, and we got to make sure we don't move in that spirit. Watch this.
And he caused his children to pass through the fire.
That's why we can't entertain abortion. You are sacrificing your children unto a false god, man. Come on.
In the fire, in the valley of the son of Hanam.
Right now is the valley of Planned Parenthood today. Come on.
Also he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft and dealt with a familiar spirit and with wizards. He wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger.
Watch how angry he was. Jump to verse 11.
Verse 11. Wherefore the Lord brought upon them the captains of the host of the king of Assyria, which took Manasseh among the thorns and bound him with fetters and carried him to Babylon.
That was the judgment, and that's when he got his mind right. So that's where you could pick up where in the prayer of Manasseh and Apocrypha. But I don't want to deviate too hard. Let's go back to 2 Kings. Now, I just want to give you all a brief lesson on what the sin of Manasseh was, so we understand the evils that he was doing, and we see those similar evils today, where you got in these churches, you got idols, false images, and all that. Even though the Lord ain't dealing with none of them churches, but nonetheless they call it a place of worship, and it's all idolatry in there. It's the same spirit. So don't think what was going on back then is not taking place today. We was killing our children back then, that's being done today. Who is it sanctioned by? The U.S. government, under the guise of Planned Parenthood. It's just all sacrificing children under the devil. That's all it is. So don't get put to sleep here. So let's go back. You know what we picking up at? 2 Kings?
Yes, sir.
All right, yes, sir.
2 Kings chapter 24, verse 8.
Come on.
Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign.
So Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign. Watch this.
And he reigned at Jerusalem 3 months. And his mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
You see that? Still doing evil. Come on.
According to all that his father had done.
His father was we just read it. What do you say his name? Jehoiakim.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. And at that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem. And the city was besieged.
And the city was what?
Was besieged.
Come on.
And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother, and his servants, and his princes, and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign.
Damn.
And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord.
So all our treasures carried out because we didn't regard us. So the Lord said, take all that stuff. We had idols in there and all that. Come on.
And Jehoiakim, verse 14. And he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remain, save the poorest sort of the people of the land.
So King Nebuchadnezzar took all the best and the brightest out of us. That's why it's important to know what's going on in Ezra chapter 2 on who was to return. Come on.
None remain save the poorest sort of the people of the land.
So left the poor people in the land. And that thing was already besieged. What you think happened to them people there, man? They starved, man. Come on.
And he carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon. And the king's mother and the king's wives.
Damn.
And his officers. And the mighty of the land. Those carried he into captivity. From Jerusalem to Babylon.
From Jerusalem to Babylon. Come on.
And all the men of might, even 7,000. And craftsmen and smiths 1,000. All that were strong and apt for war, even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon.
So he took the military, the civil engineers, what you call today, your electricians, plumbers, carpenters, civil engineers, the military wing, everybody went away. Everybody went away because we was evil and wicked as hell. So now, go to Jeremiah 25. I want y'all to see something because we talking about Jehoiakim and all the evils that was done. Watch this.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah.
Watch this. Come on.
That was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. The which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, from the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, even unto this day.
Hold on. He said from the 13th year of what?
13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, even unto this day. That is the 23rd year. The word of the Lord hath come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking.
Hold on. He did what?
Rising early and speaking.
So he was up every day. He wasn't laying on the couch. He was rising up early speaking. Come on.
But ye have not hearkened.
But we haven't listened. But I want to get a little bit of history on that because he said in the 13th year of Josiah's reign. Let's go to 2 Kings. So all this just fitting up in the history that we're reading about in Ezra because we got to know this and the reason why we left or were carried away captive and the significance of us coming back. So let's read this because he said in the 13th year of Josiah. Watch this. 2 Kings 22:1.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 22, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign.
Come on.
And he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem.
So he reigned for 31 years. So Jeremiah said in his 13th year he was out there prophesying. And he was prophesying. This was in his 4th year. So guess what? Jeremiah was prophesying for like 23 to 24 years. That's the time frame. Jeremiah out every day out there prophesying. Our people, we didn't want to regard any of that. Just like the prophets out here in the streets now. Been out there in the streets basically since 1969 pushing this truth. It's the same thing. Most of our people don't want to hear it. Read that again.
2 Kings chapter 22, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jedidiah, the daughter of Adiah of Boskath. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord.
So Josiah went off. When you read in 2 Kings, he was killed by Pharaoh Necho II in 2 Kings 23 and 39. The throne was passed to a son that he was in there. His first son was Jehoahaz. And matter of fact, read that. Because I want to give me 2 Kings 23 and 29 real quick. Sure. When he died. And then who the throne fell to.
2 Kings chapter 23, verse 29.
Come on.
In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates. And King Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo when he had seen him.
Right. Megiddo, also Armageddon. That thing's going to play a pivotal part here in World War III. But let's jump to verse 31.
Verse 31. And Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah.
Watch this.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
Come on.
According to all that his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Necho put him in bands in Riblah, in the land of Hamath, that he might not reign in Jerusalem. And he put the land to a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold.
Come on.
And Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, the son of Josiah, king in room of Josiah his father, and turned his name to Jehoiakim.
So that's what we read in Jeremiah 25:1. Jehoiakim was in power at that time. Come on.
And took Jehoahaz away,
Uh-huh.
and he came to Egypt and died there.
So his older brother got carried away to Egypt because he was rebellious, and he got taken captive and he died in prison. So Eliakim, who Pharaoh Necho changed his name to Jehoiakim, is the same Jehoiakim. Let's go back to Jeremiah 25:1. So I want us to understand the time frame that Jeremiah was prophesying, showing that this man was diligently telling us to repent and get our minds right. Read that again.
Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 1.
Come on.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim.
So Jehoiakim was in power for 4 years. Remember, Jeremiah was prophesying. Keep reading.
The son of Josiah, king of Judah. That was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
Read.
The which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, from the 13th year of Josiah.
So that's about 22 to 23 years that Jeremiah was out there prophesying, telling us to get our minds right. So now let's drop that. But I want to read that to show that this wasn't a overnight thing that took place. Jeremiah was prophesying for over 20 years. Understand that thing through 3 different kings, if you will. through 3 different kings. One may have reigned for 3 months, but nonetheless, it was through 3 different kings, or what we would call presidential terms or whatever today. And we still didn't get our act together. Go back to Ezra 2:1.
Ezra chapter 2, verse 1. Now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity, of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city.
Right, so now, what else happened during that time? During that time also, from that time period of the end of King Solomon up to the Babylonian captivity, what took place? It was a split in the kingdom. Let's get the prophecy on that in 1 Kings 11. Let's read this real quick. Start at verse 29.
1 Kings chapter 11, verse 29.
We want to make sure we set the stage so you all understand this history of what was going on, because coming out of the Christian church, most of us don't have any idea. We'll read Ezra, we don't understand the history. We'll read Jeremiah, we don't understand what was taking place. That's why the Lord put the Spirit on the leadership to come up with these various shows to give brothers and sisters the sense of what's being conveyed in the scriptures. Read that.
1 Kings chapter 11, verse 29.
So this is just more backstory as to what took place in the history. So when we read, we got a clear idea of what happened to the nation of Israel. Read this.
And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment. And they too were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces.
Damn, he walking through the field. You got a fresh garment on. Brother came in there, tear your garment up and rent it into 12 pieces. And you were like, man, what the hell is this? Well, watch this. Come on.
And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces.
So he gave him 10 pieces. You know, he probably like, man, what in the world is going on? Read.
For thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon.
Damn. So he said, I will take the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon. Come on.
And will give 10 tribes to thee.
So this is the split. This is the prophecy of the split of the nation of Israel. That's why when you get to the New Testament, they read about Jew nor Greek. People confused as hell. Think about this is talking about the white guy down the street. No. That's talking about the nation of Israel. But you got to know the history to know that. Read.
Verse 32. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David. David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake. The city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel.
Come on.
Because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtaroth.
Worship who?
Ashtoreth.
That's your Easter. All that. What the Christians going to be celebrating coming up here soon? Easter. It's the same damn thing. Come on.
The goddess of the Zidonians. Chemosh, the god of the Moabites.
So we were worshiping Chemosh, the god of the Moabites. Come on.
Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon.
That's the Japanese man right there. Come on.
And have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments as David his father.
Come on.
Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hands, and I will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes.
All right, so now let's go one chapter over. Read 13 through 19 real quick.
1 Kings 12 and 13. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him.
Right, so the little backstory on that, the history, they came up, Jeroboam said, hey, the council was given a fall back 3 days or so, and I'll give you an answer on how I should deal with you. So this is what he did what?
And the king answered the people roughly.
So he answered them roughly. Come on.
And forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him. And spake to them after the counsel of the young men.
So he didn't listen to the counsel of the old wise men. He went and listened to the young foolish brothers. Come on.
Saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord.
So this thing was from the Lord. So Rehoboam just talking crazy. But that thing was from the Lord. Come on.
That he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite.
So we read that back in chapter 11. So now let's drop that. So that's just a little bit of that was just a little bit of history there real quick. So now let's go back to Ezra 2:1 real quick.
The book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 1.
So we covered that. We covered the split. We went over the split. We also went over the prophecy as to why we got carried away under Babylon. So now we here in Babylon. So now let's go back.
Now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity,
Uh-huh.
of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city,
Come on.
which came with Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Sariah, Realiah, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mispar, Bigvai, Rahum, Baana, the number of the men of the people of Israel,
Uh-huh.
the children of Parash, 2,172.
So we're reading about the numbers of these are the numbers of the brothers and sisters that the Lord put it on their spirit to return to their land. Come on. So this is just a recount of family. What is this showing? That we had records. We had records at one point in time. But guess what? Our records was destroyed, and most of which is sitting underneath the Vatican or the Smithsonian today. But we had diligent records at that time, as best as we could keep even back then, because as we'll read on through this chapter, even some of the other records was messed up because of we got caught up in all manners of evil. Come on.
Verse 4, the children of Shephatiah, 372. The children of Arah, 775. The children of Pahath Moab, the children of Jeshua and Joab, 2,812. The children of Elam, 1,254. The children of Zatu, 945. The children of Zakai, 703 score. The children of Benai, 642. The children of Bebai, 623.
Right. So as we're reading through this, we're getting all the names of the families that left. Come on.
The children of Asgad, 1,222. The children of Adonikim, 666. The children of Bigvai, 2,056. The children of Adin, 454. The children of Ater of Hezekiah, 90 and 8.
What verse you at?
Verse 17.
All right, keep reading. We're about to jump ahead.
The children of Bezai, 323. The children of Jorah, 112. The children of Hashum, 223. The children of Gabar, 90 and 5. The children of Bethlehem, 123. The men of Netophah, 50 and 6. The men of Anathoth, 120 and 8. The children of Asmaveth, 40 and 2. The children of Kajirth Aram, Shepharah, Beeroth, 740 and 3.
Jump to verse 57.
Verse 57. The children of Shephatiah, the children of Hatil, the children of Poshereth, of Zebaim, the children of Ami, all the Nethinims, and the children of Solomon's servants.
Hold on, the who?
The children of Solomon's servants.
So we read about that, how that all the chief men would be taken captive, all the smart men, all the engineers. Let's go back and read that. That was back in what was that? That was in 2 Kings. Yeah, read that again, so we understand. So we read about chief men that was taken.
2 Kings chapter 24, verse 13.
Come on.
And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon king of Israel had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said. And he carried away all Jerusalem and all the princes.
All the who?
All the princes.
You see that? Come on.
And all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remain save the poorest sort of the people of the land.
You see that? So now you're like, damn, how did he get Solomon's, the servants of Solomon? He carried away all the princes. It was just nothing but the poor left in the land. So we're reading the prophecy and then how that thing came to pass, man. So read that. Go back to that.
The book of Ezra, chapter 2, and verse 57.
Come on.
The children of Shephatiah, the children of Hatil, the children of Poshereth, of Zebaim, the children of Ami, all the Nethinims, and the children of Solomon's servants.
Come on.
Were 390 and 2. And these were they which went up from Tel Malah, Tel Harsa, Karab, Adon, Imer, but they could not shew their father's house.
Oh, they could what?
Could not shew their father's house, and their seed, whether they were of Israel.
All right, so now, we run into that today because a lot of times people in the street, well, how you know you're an Israelite? Blah, blah, blah. You know, Esau talk about they got the DNA. That's all BS. Because read that verse again, because we fit that bill today. But I'm going to show you in the scriptures how we know we the children of God. Read that.
Ezra 2 and 59. And these were they which went up from Tel Malah, Tel Harsa, Karab, Adon, and Imer. But they could not shew their father's house. and their seed, whether they were of Israel.
Right. Give me Numbers 1 and 18 what that law was based off first, and then you know what I want in Romans 8 and 16. So watch this, because we had records, but the records was destroyed, so they was like, damn, we don't know if they are the seed. So how do we navigate around that today? First, we're going to show you the law on that first, and then we're going to show you how we navigate around that today. Watch this.
Numbers chapter 1, verse 18.
Come on.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
Uh-huh.
And they declared their pedigrees.
Their what?
They declared their pedigrees.
Uh-huh.
After their families.
Uh-huh.
By the house of their fathers.
After what?
By the house of their fathers.
Right, so you got brothers that breed dogs. They got all this paperwork. They could tell you about the pedigree, this, that, and the third. But then they'll turn around and the Negro say, well, it don't matter who we are. History is irrelevant. That's not the case. Brothers got paperwork for all this. It's very important to know who we are. But guess what? Our paperwork was destroyed. So how do we know we are the children of God? Give me Romans 8:16. Because understand, all our records was destroyed. We were utterly destroyed. And I'm going to show you the prophecy as to why we got to apply the scripture today. Watch this.
Romans chapter 8, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit.
So the Spirit itself, we're talking about the Bible, bears witness with our spirit that what?
That we are the children of God.
That we are the children of God. Why don't we have our records? Give me Jeremiah 17 and 4. Because a lot of people like to get silly and try to talk about DNA, 23andMe, or what, is that it? 23andMe? All that dumb nonsense? Absolutely not. We going with thus saith the Lord, the Holy Scriptures. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
Shall what?
Shall discontinue from thine heritage.
Hey, IT team, do me a favor. Pull up discontinue. Because sometimes we just don't know what words mean. So it says, thou, even thyself. He was talking to the prophet Jeremiah. Remember, we read Jeremiah was prophesying for over 23 years. He said, man, I was out here in the 13th year of your grandfather out here prophesying, and y'all still ain't listening. Pull that up so we can read discontinue. So we don't want to glaze over anything because we got to give the sense. Watch this. Oh, we can't see it. It says discontinue. It says to cease or doing something. Typically, something provided on a regular basis is no longer available. Stop making. That's what it like. Discontinuing is no longer available. We got some synonyms: put to an end, put to stop, call to halt, abandon, cease, refrain, cut. All these things, leave off. That's what happened to us. It's no longer available. So if you try to like order a part for your refrigerator, because this happened to me, you could take that down. My gasket went bad on it, so it wasn't sealing. So I went to go order. It said this product is discontinued. It was no longer available. Read Jeremiah 17 and 4 again for the people.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
Right, so that happened. We read an account in the scriptures where, go back to Ezra 2 and 59. They like, damn, hold on, man. We can't show they was discontinued because they didn't have the records. But now we got the understanding in Christ that Romans 8:16, the Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit. Because guess what? Moses prophesied about that. Matter of fact, get that how we know. I want that these shall be upon thee for a sign. Go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. What was that, verse 46? Read that.
Yes, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46.
Come on.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So the they is talking about the curse going to be upon us for a sign. What is the point of a sign? Is to identify something. How do you know to stop at an intersection? Because it's a stop sign there. How do you know you in front of a Subway sandwich shop? Because it's a big sign that says Subway. Plain and simple. Read it again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign, and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Upon thy what?
Thy seed forever.
So now go to Romans 8:16. So we want to make sure we cover all the bases so nobody gets simple.
Romans chapter 8, verse 16.
Come on.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
So that's how we know today. So we want to make sure we tie in what we reading back here in Ezra to how we navigate today. How do we determine our lineage today? Because we say, we go through the scripture, say, you know what? My forefathers, my ancestors were brought over here on slave ships. Damn, I'm at the bottom of society. Man, I ain't got no money. I live in the hood. These things are signs that was put on the children of Israel. So now go back to that Ezra 2 and 59. So we understand the point of what happened back then. That same thing is common today. But guess what? We're able to navigate that because we read the prophecies and read Romans 8 and 16 to show who we are.
The book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 59. And these were they which went up from Tel Melah, Tel Harsah, Karab, Adon, and Immer. But they could not shew their father's house and their seed, whether they were of Israel.
Come on.
The children of Deliah, the children of Tobiah, the children of Nekoda, 652.
Come on, watch this.
And of the children of the priests, the children of Habiah, the children of Kaz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai the Gileadite, and was called after their name.
Right, you read about him. That was an old gentleman that helped out King David when he was on the run from his son Absalom. He looked out for him. So that's why his name is noted in his family lineage. They also wanted to return to the land. Come on.
Verse 62. These sought their registry among those that were reckoned by genealogy.
By who?
By genealogy.
Come on.
But they were not found. Therefore were they as polluted, put from the priesthood.
So where can we read about something similar in the Old Testament? Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 1. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 1. So we're going to go to the New Testament, show, hey, this thing was brought up again in the New Testament. Watch this.
1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 1. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ, by the commandment of God, our Savior, and Lord Jesus Christ, which is our hope.
Come on.
Unto Timothy, my own son in the faith, grace, mercy, and peace from God and our Father and Jesus Christ our Lord.
Come on.
As I besought thee to abide still at Ephesus, when I went into Macedonia, that thou mightest charge some that they teach no other doctrine.
Come on.
Neither give heed unto fables and endless genealogies.
Hold on, neither give heed unto what?
Unto fables and endless genealogies.
Because it was pointless. Because you couldn't trace it back. The scribes and Pharisees, they claimed that they could trace their lineage all the way back to Moses, but we read an account in the scriptures where they couldn't do it. That's why he said, don't even entertain it because it's unprofitable. It's unprofitable. Don't get caught up in it. That's why you don't see us walking around with a 23andMe. Esau claiming he got the bones of King David and all them, and they know who the Jews are. They a damn lie. They are a damn lie. And I'm going to show you, matter of fact, give me 1 Timothy 6. You already know what I want. About this man's science. And how he's got his genealogy and all that. These people are liars, man. Read that.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20.
Come on.
O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust.
The scriptures is what's committed to our trust. As he instructed Timothy to keep the scriptures to his trust, we instruct brothers and sisters today, our trust is in the scriptures. Come on.
Avoiding profane and vain babblings. And oppositions of science.
Oppositions of what?
Of science.
Meaning what? Them fake genealogies that they got out there to throw you brothers and sisters off. Come on.
Falsely so-called.
Falsely so-called. Because they don't have the records of DNA. Your records is already in your bloodline. Your spirit bear witness. That's all the records you need. So now let's go back to that 1 Timothy chapter 1 and read verse 4 again. Let's see how Paul instructed Timothy to do. He's basically telling him, look, don't even worry about that. I set you up. Romans 8:16 is in effect when we read this. Read that again.
1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions.
Which do what?
Which minister questions.
Because the scriptures say the spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. We don't need to entertain foolish genealogies, man. Come on.
Which minister questions rather than godly edifying, which is in faith. So do.
Right, because you even see that today. Brothers that jump out there, man, Northern Kingdom ain't this, they ain't that. Look at their jeans, look at their hair. That ain't doing nothing but rendering strife. There's no edification that, and them brothers is wicked and evil as hell. Getting caught up in that. That's the fruit of that genealogy, man. Is where brothers out here denying the Northern Kingdom. Wicked as hell. So now let's go back to Ezra.
The book of Ezra, chapter 2, and verse 63. And the Tershada said unto them, that they should not eat of the most holy things, till there stood up a priest with Urim and with Thummim. The whole congregation together was 40,002,303 score.
Give me the law on that, though, because they were still applying all. Give me Leviticus 22 real quick. Leviticus 22, I want 1 and 2, and then jump to 10. Why they couldn't eat? Because they wasn't sure at that time. So you say, you know what? Fall back on that. This is the law that they applied. That's why they told them not to eat the holy thing.
Leviticus chapter 22, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel.
Come on.
And that they profane not my holy name in those things, which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord.
Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing.
So they wasn't sure who they were, so they applied the law. Said, you know what, don't do that, because the scriptures say there shall be no stranger to eat of the holy thing. Come on.
A sojourner of the priests or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing.
So now let's go back to Ezra 2 and 63. So remember, this was us returning back to Jerusalem to rebuild the walls, to rebuild the city, to rebuild the temple. So they wanted to set things in order according to the scriptures that was given unto our forefathers, unto their forefathers at the time. So they wanted to make sure that the priesthood was intact. So that's why they applied it. Go read that again.
Ezra chapter 2, verse 63. And the Tershatha said unto them, that they should not eat of the most holy things till there stood up a priest with Urim and with Thummim.
Come on.
The whole congregation together was 42,303 score.
Come on.
Beside their servants and their maids, of whom there were 7,337. And there were among them 200 singing men and singing women.
Come on.
Their horses were 736.
So they had to have resources. They had to have servants. Come on.
Their mules, 245. Their camels, 435. Their asses, 6,720. And some of the chief of the fathers, when they came to the house of the Lord, which is at Jerusalem, offered freely for the house of God to set it up in its place.
Right. Matter of fact, stop there. I want you to go, because now we're reading about the things that was carried away. Look up the definition of porter for me. Jump back up to verse 42. I'm going to show you something. Because we wasn't just haphazardly moving. They worked out logistics. Like you see how UPS, FedEx, and all of them got logistics. Make no mistake about it. They were working out logistics on how to move this amount of people, this much material, to go back and rebuild Jerusalem. Pull up the definition of porter real quick for the people.
Porter, a person employed to carry luggage and other loads, especially in a railroad station, airport, or hotel.
So now read verse 42. Read Ezra 2 and 42.
Ezra chapter 2, verse 42.
Come on.
The children of the porters.
The what?
The children of the porters.
So it was men that was set up to carry these things. So don't get it twisted like we were just haphazardly moving like we do today. No, this was a plan that was laid out. It was organized. They had the head counts. They had the family. They had the vessel. All the things that was necessary and needful to start the rebuilding process. Keep on.
The children of Shalom. The children of Ater. The children of Talmon. The children of Akub. The children of Hetatai. The children of Shobai. In all, 139.
Right, so those are people's 139 men that set up to organize transporting things. So go back to Ezra. Go back to 66, verse 66. And we're gonna be closing out soon.
Ezra 2 and 66. Their horses were 736. Their mules, 245. Their camels, 435.
Come on.
Their asses, 6,720.
So all these things, you will equate them to like fleet trucks, flatbeds, cargo vans, and all that today to move all this material. You talking about rebuilding the city. The brother didn't go down there with a pair of clines, some screwdrivers. We had to rebuild the wall, houses, temple, and all that. You had to have people that was good, blacksmiths, all types of things that had to be made. Come on.
Verse 68. And some of the chief of the fathers, when they had came to the house of the Lord, which is at Jerusalem, offered freely for the house of God to set it up in its place. They gave after their ability unto the treasurer of the work 61,000 drams of gold, and 5,000 pounds of silver, and 100 priest garments.
Come on, and what?
And 100 priest garments.
So they determined they had 100 priest garments. Come on.
So the priests and the Levites, and some of the people, and the singers, and the porters, and the Nethinims dwelt in their city, and all Israel in their cities.
Right, so before we close out, so when we read about the Levites that came, and it was about, or the priests, it was about 4,300 priests total, but they made 100 priest garments because they determined lineage. And when we read the total count, it was around 50,000 people that was transported from Babylon back to Jerusalem. That's like a 900-mile journey or so. So they had to have, or you wasn't just getting up walking 900 miles without planning this thing out. So understand our forefathers, they weren't just regular men, because what we'll do is we'll take the black mindset and project it back there today. They weren't getting down like that. They had the routes laid out. Remember, this was all on foot. It was women, children, infants, materials, all these things had to be let out. They had to have tents set up to stop. They had to make sure they hit certain cities along the way to replenish their goods and supplies. That thing took logistics. It took planning. You had to know what was in between Babylon and Jerusalem. You had to have security guards because it was wild beasts and all that out there. So make no mistake about it. We'll just read through Ezra 2 and just read the names and just fly through it. No, that was a serious operation. And the Lord put the spirit on these men to do that. So I pray that you brothers and sisters was edified with that. And with that, we say shalom, Most High in Christ bless.
This is the message. Cutting them all